Kris Boyd, thanks for staying on, former Scotland international for this one. How would you describe that to someone who hadn't watched the game?
Oh, embarrassing. I think, the team, but they deserve enormous credit for, for getting to where they've got to. But, we can't keep getting to competitions and freezing. And that's exactly what happened. I think with the first half, I've maybe been a little bit critical. Germany were very good, very good. But at the end of the day, you've got to track your runners, you've got to stay with them, you've got to show more confidence on the ball when you get it. The passes, I don't know what it ended up, but I'd be astonished if Scotland had, any more than 10 passes to put together in any phase of play. And I think at this level, if you're going to get anything, that's one thing you need to do. That Scotland really struggled to deal with the movement of the front players from Germany. Albeit they were quality, but you look at just switching off at key moments, go and get tight with people. The first one that comes in from the right hand side, and you sometimes I think when you look at Scotland and it's a back five there tonight, but you always think, oh, the guy next to me will pick them up, or the other one will pick them up. Sometimes you've just got to go and use your initiative and go and pick them up and go and do that. But take nothing away from Germany. They were excellent on the night, and I'm just delighted that it'll be another team that will potentially upset England.
I don't think they'll be an upset at the moment they're on that form, to be fair. Who was to blame, if anyone, for the start of the game then and all the pockets of space the Germans picked up? Was that the players or is that Steve Clarke? Could he have adjusted before the 10th minute opener?
Yeah, I think Steve Clarke will probably look back on the game and could he have played Billy Gilmour in there alongside Callum McGregor? It gives you more balance there, albeit you're not going to get forward. And I can understand both sides because I think if you'd have said to a lot of the Scottish fans there tonight, they were optimistic you could go there and maybe cause an upset. But to do that, you've got to have players on the offensive that can cause some problems. Yes, Scott McTominay could play that one further forward, but Ryan Christie has been informed. McTominay hasn't been playing as such; he's been injured. So I can understand why he's left McTominay there as a holding player and Ryan Christie as a forward player. But the gaps were so big. And I think, to be honest, the back three have a lot to blame as well, because you've got to, at this level, you've got to be full confidence in your ability, your pace to get, go and squeeze a game. Don't allow those gaps in between the midfield and the defence. And Germany have got players in there that can hurt you. Listen, it's been a bad night. It's been an embarrassment night for the country. There's no doubt. But these players have carried this country. They've given the feel-good factor back to the place, and hopefully, as I said, they can bounce back in the next two games. But it's going to be very difficult. Yeah,
Switzerland's next on Wednesday. Let's show you some of the match statistics from tonight, which underscores Germany's dominance in the game. Then it's 20 shots to 1. Kris, the goal was an own goal from Antonio Rudiger, of course. 10 shots on target, none for Scotland, and 27.2% possession. How difficult is it to recover from a beating like that?
We're going to have to. As I said, Switzerland and Hungary ain't going to be easy games. I thought coming into this one tonight with the pressure on Germany, everybody was saying that they weren't at the level that they used to be at. I think obviously their players used that to spur them on and prove a point in front of their home nation. In front of the home fans, as the home nation of the tournament. But I think you've got to erase it. It's finished. You can't affect it now. What you can do is go and look at the next two games, try and use any positives there were for tonight to try and take that forward and cause problems to Switzerland and Hungary. But as I said, I got the feeling that this was probably going to be the easier game, going back at because of the home nation, because of maybe the nerves at the start of the tournament. If Scotland had went out and maybe in their face a lot better, tracked the runners, but unfortunately, I think there is levels in football, and Scotland have found that out tonight.
There's players in there who are going to be hurting, aren't they? How does Steve Clarke handle it? Does he get angry with the performance? Does he cajole them? What's the style now for the manager needed?
I don't think you can. I think those days you might be angry inside yourself, but I don't think you can take it out on the players because you don't want to lose them. You need to ask these players to go again on Wednesday. I think it is. Listen, there'll be conversations had. I think I'm just looking at it again there. I've no idea what Ryan Porteous is doing. Absolutely no idea. I get the fact that you need to go and block it. He's right there, though. All he needs to do is put a leg out, but he decides to go 2 feet.
He could have got the ball and just kicked the ball out.
Yeah, he could have got a block in it anyway, but I mean, Ilkay Gundogan is very, very lucky that his foot's just a little bit off the ground and he's able to, it's a horrible tackle, but as I said, he was able to complete the match. So, hopefully from Germany's point of view, he's okay, but it was a terrible tackle. Then the penalty's given and Kai Havertz dispatches that. But, I mean, overall, Germany, by far the better team. There were a lot of people maybe looking at them as underdogs. There'll be serious contenders now after this. The way they move the ball around, Tony Kroos in the middle of the pitch, everything's just so crisp. And it's actually going to be pretty sad, isn't it? When you think that this is going to be his last competition. But, from a Scotland point of view, you've got to be more aggressive in the press. You've got to get in their faces. You've got to stop them playing. Yes, good players, they can hurt you at any given moment in time. But I think you've got to show more character and, as I said, stop good players playing.
Well, Boyd, a lot of people said coming into this that the record of 1 win in 9 doesn't matter. We can show you the recent results for Scotland. The wonderful results, of course, against Spain and Norway in qualifying. But when you look at that 1 win, 3 draws and 6 losses in the past 10, the win coming against Gibraltar, did that affect things tonight at all, not having that winning momentum?
No, I don't think so. I think looking at it, if you go back to those games, the ones that Steve Clark had picked, it was in preparation for this tournament. This is the level you're going to come up against. I think if you go and look at Scotland competitively in the last few, before the game tonight, I mean, it was 15 wins in the last 21 matches. I mean, only Portugal had a better record since 2021. So, I mean, there was a lot of positives coming into the tournament. I get the fact that, people will look to, the last 9, 10 fixtures, whatever it may be, but Scotland were already qualified. The nations they'd come up against were, powerhouses of world football. They're always going to be difficult. But you've got to say, the worrying thing for me with the whole thing would be that Scotland, whenever we seem to lose a goal, it seems to become 2 and 3. And, we've got to get away with that. There seems to be another one. As soon as you lose one, there's something else happens. The same against Finland on the weekend.
Is that because the plan A goes out the window and they're not sure?
I don't know. You go back to the qualifying campaign, the group stages of this. It was built on clean sheets. It was very difficult to score against for whatever reason. I think missing Hickey and Patterson in that right back area. Tony Ralston came in and done okay, but he's no Hickey, he's no Patterson. So, I think that is a cause for concern. The middle of the pitch were totally overran with. I wouldn't say, in fact, I'll take that back. One overran, just the quality from Tony Kroos, the vision. You think you're getting close to him, but he'll just open it up and the long diagonals. We've seen it from Real Madrid. We've seen it all his career. Germany are a force to be reckoned with. Scotland were really poor, but looking at that German team tonight, they've got the bit between their teeth and they know, with the home fans behind them, they've got a chance.
Tell me about the Scotland fans, how they respond to this as well, because got brilliant. I think we got some reaction to the consolation goal, which kind of underscores the fact that their spirits weren't deflated by the night itself. This is at the Box Park, I believe. What do you make of them? Because it's going to be important, isn't it? They keep them around, because we've all praised the many thousands that have gone over to Germany. Will they be dented by this result, or do you think they'll just roll on to Switzerland and give it all the best?
Well, to be fair, by the time they sober up, they might have forgotten about it anyway. So, look, I mean, we spoke about it before the start of the game. There's one thing about the Tartan Army. When they go to competitions, we've been starved of it for a number of years now. 1998 was the last time that Scotland were at an away tournament. And looking at it, they won't be deflated. They'll pick themselves up, they'll go again. Listen, they'll be angry. I think a lot of people, it's easy after the game to say, why was Gilmour not playing? Why was this one not playing? But
Would Gilmour have made a difference?
I think he probably would have, and I think Steve Clark might look back at that now and say, yeah, maybe in terms of just that two just sitting there. I mean, I think McTominay sometimes, but I can understand why, because looking at it, he tried to get Robertson and Ralston high, and then use McTominay's legs to get out that right hand side. Look, it wasn't to be. Anything that could have went wrong for Scotland tonight happened. It did go wrong, and Germany punished them. I would expect Billy Gilmour to come back in for the next game. But whatever happens, we've got to be more aggressive. Whether that's on the press, you've got to show more confidence on the ball going forward. And when you get into those positions, especially in the first half, a little bit more quality. It wasn't to be, as I said, it's an embarrassing night for the nation in terms of everybody just looking at it. But I think from any Scotsman looking at it, where the country has been to where it's got to now has been night and day. This group of players deserve enormous credit. They'll pick themselves up, they'll go again on Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to that game.
Well, how important is it underscoring the message that there are a lot of teams going through third place finishes as well? There'll be four of those. What does Scotland need, do you feel, from Switzerland and Hungary to go through?
Well, I think looking at that's probably the one thing that will annoy Steve Clarke tonight. See that fifth goal as well. I mean, I know they went 5-0 up, and obviously the goal got choked off from Falkirk. But that last goal as well, from Emre Can. It's 93 minutes. Just get the game done. As I said, it can come down to goal difference. You just never know. There's 4 teams that's going to finish in the third place, go through. Scotland have still got a chance of doing that. It's going to be very difficult, but it could come down to goal difference, and just those little moments. That'll be that's the thing that annoys Steve Clarke the most. It's the lacking of not tracking your runner, the lack of composure, you've got to say, from Ryan Porteous in terms of that challenge. Seeing the game out in 93 minutes. I know you're saying see the game out at 4-1, but 4-1's better than 5-1. But pick ourselves up and go again. We might be down, but
do they go against Shaqiri and Xhaka and Akanji and go for the win against Switzerland? Or
we need to. There's no. I mean, I think it changes everything now in terms of you've got to go and try and win that game of football. Switzerland are they're at every competition, aren't they? They qualify. They've done it for a number of years now. Hungary, you could argue it's their golden generation as well. The same with Switzerland. Maybe they're coming to an end now, but it's going to be very difficult games. You say the players that are there defensively, Switzerland are very strong as well. Sommer and Akanji, Fabian Schär as well. So they've got players there that's and offensively they can cause you problems as well. But I think Scotland are going to have to look at, what have we got that can go and cause problems. It wasn't to be tonight, but we've shown in recent times that we can cause, nations problems, and just hopefully come Wednesday we've found that spark again.
All is not lost, and I tell you what, you referenced England as well, and maybe worried about Germany. Everyone was very pessimistic, including the Germans, about Germany, but we can see the fans celebrating tonight. They were saying it wasn't quite as euphoric as 2006 yet, the World Cup in Germany, but they're going to start believing tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think with that performance, there was a lot of doubt coming into the tournament. Probably because of the lack of. I think if you go back through the German international teams, and I think it's worldwide now as well, the lack of a number 9 as such. But I've got to say, Kai Havertz tonight, for the period of time he was on the pitch, his movement was excellent. Allowed the others. He's maybe dropping deep then the runs off the sidelines from the wingers as well. Musiala, Wirtz, Gundogan running beyond as well.
What a narrow team, aren't they? But they seem to find space.
They were, the movement, the occasion, they're all together. You can tell they're obviously working on it. Clever football players. And as I said, there's levels in football, and Scotland have found that out tonight. Germany on their home patch, they're a bit like the Italians. As I said earlier, sometimes you go into tournaments and you don't think much of them, but they find a way to win games of football. They weren't asked, to be at their top tonight. They weren't asked to defend a lot, but going forward, I thought they were excellent tonight. Excellent.
Wirtz and Musiala, 2 21-year-olds. Do you think Southgate could learn from that? Could he play the 2 10s, Bellingham and Foden like that?
You should be trying to sign them next.
We'll get Musiala back. Yeah. I think that ship sailed. But...
yeah, it's gone. Look, it's one game. As I said, Germany were very good. Scotland were very poor. I don't think, Germany, I don't think will get carried away, as themselves as well because of how poor. And you've got to remember, Scotland were down to 10 men in the second half as well. I mean, the team, Julian Nagelsmann might allow the fans to get carried away, but I'm sure inside the camp they'll be, speaking to each other and saying, everything went for us tonight. We made it happen, but Scotland were very poor. But the opening tournament, I think it's the biggest win ever in an opening tournament as well. So, I mean, there was a lot of positives there
not
from
the biggest
Germany.
win ever, which is a relief for Scotland tonight.
I know. But, from a German point of view, they were probably happy going in as underdogs and maybe just trying to, even if they're 1-1-0 or 2-0, they still kept them as underdogs. But this has now put them on a pedestal now as well. There were a lot of bigger nations now looking at them saying, they're maybe not as bad as what we thought they were. And they've picked up recently. Under Nagelsmann, they have. They obviously beat France. I think beat the Netherlands as well.
In March,
They've started to get back to winning ways. So, look, I don't know. I mean, I think you look at. I think it's as open as a tournament that we've probably seen. You go back to World Cups and championships before, where you think those 1 or 2 teams were absolute certainties to get there. I think there's probably 4 or 5 that fancy their chances here, and Germany have added themselves to that category tonight. delighted.
Explosive start. I can tell you're delighted. Explosive start by Germany. Fantastic, Bordy. Appreciate you staying on, and we'll see you Wednesday evening. Hopefully, it's
go and drown my sorrows.
Yep. You have a great evening. I know you're back here in the morning, so
back here in the morning.
Don't go too wild, but see you soon. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.